Hey y'all, what's going on? Wanted to pop on, have wanted to for some time, but had a little bit some family stuff going on with my mom, fractured her pelvis at 81. So, you know, just living out that part of life and getting her back on her feet. I've been really wanting to talk about a few things besides LifeWise, and one of them is this IL26-001, the Restoring Parental Rights Bill that is an initiative that was brought forth by a group called Let's Go Washington, and its leader, Brian Haywood, who is an out-of-state conservative with lots and lots and lots of money that lives in Redmond, and he is trying to basically shoot holes in bills that have been passed to try to turn back legislation on parental rights as far as being able to protect children, which is what this bill was about, which is why they amended it. And that's what made the conservatives mad, because it didn't provide for unfettered access, for parents to have unfettered access to their children's records. Because I don't know about you guys and what news or what you listen to or where you live or what your association is to the outside world, but there's an awful lot of kids that get abused. There's an awful lot of kids that come from very bad, unsafe households where they might be being neglected emotionally, physically, they might be being sexually or physically assaulted. And it allowed the school an opportunity to get their hands around a child that needs their help and provided a safety and support net without the requirement of having to tell the household in which they live, which is oftentimes where the abuse is occurring. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I am an expert on this bill, because I'm not. But as someone who comes from a family where there was a lot of abuse, and people in your life that you know, and just reading things every day, there's just a lot of humans that don't have the tools for whatever reasons to be good parents. And the bill, as it was amended and stands now, that Brian Haywood and Let's Go Washington and these frothing at the mouth conservatives, that you're not thinking of the children that will benefit from being protected from their abusive situation. You see it as a personal attack on you. And my question to you is, if you were a good parent that had a good relationship with your child, this bill doesn't apply to you. But you don't seem to want to see that. You've taken it personally, that you're taking away the opportunity, you're taking away a safety net for a kid who otherwise probably has absolutely nothing and no hope of a reprieve. And I'm not saying that the foster care system is great, because I have been an emergency substitute teacher and I have had a foster child in my house, and all of the things that you see, you realize there's just a lot of people that never should have been parents. But that can't be helped now. And so they're here, and we need to be able to protect them. If you are a parent that has a good relationship with your child, where your child feels that they can trust you to tell you things, and that you know your child's not being abused, and that if anything's going wrong, you're addressing it in a loving, kind, and caring way, then this bill will never apply to you, because the school, I guarantee you, does not have the time or the resources to go after parents where there's no case to. They're just trying to corral kids back and forth between class as much as freaking possible and as fast as possible, and getting them onto their next lesson and making sure they're paying attention, and trying to corral dozens of little different learning style minds together to learn something for the day. That's what they're doing. They're trying to feed the children that get snacks in the middle of the day or after lunch because they're hungry and they don't have a lot of food at home. They're trying to manage hygiene issues. They're trying to make sure that kids stay on the learning path, or that one kid isn't smacking another kid, or that kid's not melting down under the desk because he's clearly an introvert and just can't handle how fucking crazy a classroom can be. You don't think about those kids. You've internalized it as an attack on you as a parent, and it's not an attack on you. if you're a good parent that is good to their children and you have a good relationship. How do I know this? Because that's the kind of relationship I have with my mother, who is 81 years old. I called that woman when I was drunk. I called that woman when my very first boyfriend cheated on me. And, I didn't know if he gave me something. And I called her without her knowing what was going on. I just said, I need you to meet me at a clinic. I could trust her to, I know me be upset, but I could trust her to have my fucking back as my parent, understanding that it's better for me to go to her. And we had that relationship because she was a loving, kind, and amazing parent. So again, I know this is kind of a long way around the block because I hit my thing. If you're a good parent, you don't have to worry about this. It makes me so angry that people don't think outside of their own bubble. Do you not pay attention to the amount of stories and horrific stories that we hear of abuse? Just look at that Ruby Frankie thing that was down in Utah, where her kids escaped and found the neighbor's house and they had been starved. And oh my God, all of this horrible, horrible torture, homeschooled, of course, by the way. Rich, poor, it don't matter. And what you're going to do is you are going to weaken the ability for the school district to be able to step in and help your child. I looked it up, about 20% of neglect abuse style cases are reported from mandatory reporters from a school district. I really want folks to think about this. Please start thinking outside of yourself, your bubble, your personal little fifis about it, because these are real children that are being impacted. I know a member of a school board who told me recently that he never missed a day of school because home was not a safe place. School was his safe place. That's really profound. You have to understand that. I knew a girl that was sleeping in the closet of her high school it was a church. And then there was another one that was actually sleeping in a high school too. Like there are stories of this all over the place. Cocoon House here in Everett, they have a host home program where, if you want to help out, you have teens that come into, your home and you only ever get them for 3 weeks at the most, and you only ever get them once. At least that was the last time I heard about the program. And a lot of those kids, there's issues and problems that they encounter is their parents don't like it that they're gay, or that they say that, that they're trans, or that, I don't know, insert any number of things. I mean, in my mother's era, and I'm sure even still, if you came home pregnant, they, kick you out of the house or try to send you away to a home. My grandparents tried to do that to or wanted to do it to my aunt, my mom's youngest sister, because she was pregnant at 18 out of wedlock. I mean, and I had, and that was a thing of the times. Like my grandmother was never going to let it happen, but these are the types of things, but worse. I think one of the most horrific things I remember hearing about, and this was 2 babies in like the Midwest where they were twins, and when they were found, there were maggots in their diapers. You'd be lucky if those kids make it to a year old. I mean, they were taken out of the home and hopefully not given back. But these are the people that have kids. Those kids that survive those households to get into school. Oh, like the recent, what was it, Alabama mom that was beating her son on camera and the Cocker Spaniel was barking, and it was her older son that had gone through all of that shit too, that filmed her and turned her in, and she was a fucking teacher at a Christian school. I mean, the abuse is everywhere. These kids need protection, and I want you to just please step outside of yourself. Step outside of your feelings, like if it's going to happen to you, because if you think you're really in danger of this, then you should look in the mirror and realize you're the fucking parent that the school is trying to protect your kid from, if you're that worried about it. Nobody is going to take kids from good parents. They don't have the time. They don't have the resources. They don't have the money. I mean, Everett School District let in a bunch of Christian nationalists because they were too afraid to be sued, and what ended up happening after all them school board meetings? You're going to get fucking sued anyways, because these people have the money and they have the ambition and they don't care. We don't operate under the same way that they do. I mean, anyhow, I won't go off on too much of a tangent. If I have some new listeners to this, thank you for being here. If you followed me over from TikTok, I appreciate it. People, I really, 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 really want you to understand that there's just a lot of kids out there in really shitty homes. And if the school district is forced to give the medical records and all of the records over to the very people that are abusing these kids, what do you think is going to happen when their parents get their hands on that information and see what the kid has said and they're not taken out of the home yet? I mean, I dated my very first serious boyfriend. If he went to school and said something and he came home, he said he fucking got it worse. I mean, doing this to kids isn't protecting kids. You're just doing this because you've been led astray by fear, by bullshit, due to lack of education, due to lack of critical thinking, and fucking due to a lack of empathy. And God damn it, people, it could be better than this. Take care, y'all. I know it probably wasn't the happiest one, but we need to understand that children should be our number one thing to protect. I know that's really hard for people in this country. Just look at the Epstein files and the Catholic Church and all the rest of the religions with all of their priest touching and pastor touching problems. But there are good people here that want to make sure that kids are protected. I am one of those people, and I know there's a lot of others just like that. So y'all take care. And I know it's really fucking hard out there. I was saying on an earlier TikTok today that, my mom was born in 1944, October. It was right before the war was going to end, or war just ended. I don't remember. I think war ended, 45? And now she could potentially leave this planet with fascism on these shores. And that's a really fucking horrible thing to think about. So I hope you think about it too. Bye-bye.